When bad things happen in our life, sometimes the only thing that we know how to do is just turn our back on God and flee from Him. My name is Cody Nesper, and I'm 21 years old. When I was 16 years old, my mom was arrested from a different church that we had been attending in Arizona. I was so angry with the church for what they had done, and I was so angry with God for allowing His church to do something so atrocious. And still I wanted to be a part of the church while also being a part of the family, and combining those two things, I wanted to be ultimately the savior of both the church and my family, and I couldn't do those things anymore. And so it broke me. So I left the church physically, and I emotionally withdrew from my family, and I wanted nothing to do really with either one of them. And when I was 17 years old, we ended up here at Scottsdale Bible for family counseling that we could maybe work through some of these issues. And Jamie was sitting across the table from me and so compassionately just asked me, "How do you feel about all of this?" And I told him I didn't want anything to do with God or His church or organized religion. The entire experience had just completely turned me off. And he looked at me and said, I can understand that response, and I'm sorry you feel that way. And so my anger and hatred and frustration just burned in my heart and made it so hard towards any concepts of church or God. And when I was 18, my mom was finally sentenced by the state for a 5-year prison sentence, and she's still serving out that sentence today. And it's been really difficult to walk through that journey together, and to only get to spend a certain amount of time with my mom, and to have her ripped from the family for so long. The day before my 19th birthday, God brought me to a Bible study that met on Friday nights. And it didn't look like a Bible study, and it didn't look like a church, because it was kids just 14 to 19 years old just studying the Bible and praying for each other and loving on each other and just gathering together. And so I got plugged into that Bible study, and we would go to the skate parks and share the gospel and pray for people and try and minister to them as best as we could. And even as we were doing that, I knew that I was a hypocrite because I was trying to earn my salvation. That if I preached the gospel enough or prayed for enough people during the day, that I could earn my way to God. And then I remembered that Jesus' grace is the only way to come to God, that Jesus is the only way to the Father. And so one night I cried out in prayer that, God, I need to believe in you. I need your grace in my life. I need it to reign over me. And in that moment, it did. It changed. My heart was changed, that I no longer believed that I could earn my way into salvation, that I could trust upon Jesus' righteousness for salvation. And since then, He's been establishing a place for me to serve in His church. And when I was 20, I was really wrestling through where I was supposed to serve, how I was supposed to serve. Was it in the marketplace, or was it in the church, or how can those two things blend? And He really gave my heart a passion for being a part of the church, for not going into the marketplace, but for being a part of ministry and serving people full time and serving the church full time. And so now that's what I'm doing. I'm pursuing trying to go into ministry. And it's so funny that God's taken me from sitting in Jamie's office 4 years ago saying, I'll never be a part of organized religion again. And He's brought me to a place where all I want is the church, and all I need to be a part of is the church, and that I need people to know the love of Jesus Christ.